Hey friend, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Have you ever wondered if you can actually change your gut health just by what you eat and how you live? Is it really possible to boost your microbiome and improve your family's health? Well, today we're diving into that exact question. How much control do we actually have over our gut bacteria? And what are some simple things that we can do to keep it happy and thriving? Stick around because the answers might surprise you. Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. This podcast is for busy moms who want to feel their best and create a healthier home without stress or confusion. If you're ready for simple, practical tips to boost your energy, nourish your family, and make wellness a natural part of your everyday life, then you're in the right place. From easy wellness hacks to natural living tips, my goal is to help you to take small, manageable steps that lead to real, sustainable results. Because taking care of yourself shouldn't feel like just another chore. Let's dig in. Now, before you start thinking this is going to be all sciencey and overwhelming, don't worry. We're going to break this down in a way that's going to make sense and also, more importantly, in a way that you're going to be able to apply this to your real busy mom life. So I'm going to get started with a little story. There were several years ago, it was after I had my twins, I was dealing with a pretty severe food intolerance to dairy. I was also struggling with low energy, just this general blah feeling. Have you ever had that feeling? And it's just those things where it's like I was doing all the things, trying to eat healthy, drinking water, maybe even sneaking in like a little bit of a walk or a workout. I had 3 kids that were 3.5 and under. So I was on my feet all the time, but something still felt off. And in this case, I could not have dairy without having just these horrible side effects. And so I had no idea at the time that my gut health was actually playing a huge role in that. It wasn't until I started making some simple shifts to improve my gut health that I really started to feel a difference and begin to be able to tolerate dairy again. So it got me thinking, can we actually change our microbiome? Can we influence those tiny little bacteria that live in our gut? And the short answer is yes, we can. And while taking a good quality probiotic every day can be really, really helpful, there are also other things that we can do. So let's talk about what really affects your microbiome. Your gut microbiome is like a tiny, ever-changing ecosystem inside of you. And just like any ecosystem, what you feed it and how you treat it is going to determine what thrives and what struggles. And one of the biggest things that can impact our gut and our gut health is our diet. Research shows that our food choices have about 5 times more influence on our microbiome than our genetics. So while you might have inherited certain tendencies from your family, what you eat every day matters way more than what is in your DNA. So let's talk about what should we be eating. And the key here is diversity. So eat more whole fiber-rich foods. The more variety of fiber-rich foods that you can eat, so fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, the more diverse and healthy your gut bacteria become. And guess what? These foods don't just feed your gut bacteria, they actually help them to produce things like short-chain fatty acids, which support your immune system, reduce inflammation, and even help to regulate your mood. And here's the cool thing. Foods rich in polyphenols, so think things like berries, dark chocolate, coffee, and even cranberries have been shown to directly influence your gut bacteria. So that morning cup of coffee or that piece of dark chocolate that you have, it's actually doing more good than just improving your mood when you wake up. So some studies have shown that eating a variety of foods can also help to improve the diversity of microbes that we have in our gut. The reason for this is that specific bacteria feed off of certain foods. And so if you don't eat foods that specific strain of bacteria feeds off of, then the bacteria will begin to die off because it doesn't have any food. So if you're eating the same, let's say 8 to 10 fruits and vegetables over and over again, it really is going to limit the variety of different bacteria strains you're going to have in your gut. So a great way that you can help to create more diversity in your gut microbiome is to add varieties of fruits and vegetables into your diet. One of my favorite hacks for this would be to include like dried herbs even, or spices, those can all kind of add additional diversity into our diet in a really simple way. Or if there are fruits or vegetables that your family just really doesn't like, but you're wanting to try to add those back in, then you can dehydrate them, grind them up into a powder, and then just add them into your meals that way. And the great thing, there have also been studies showing if you have a child who's a picky eater, a lot of times if you can introduce foods that, again, if you're not eating those foods, then those bacteria have died off. So if you can introduce the foods like in a dehydrated powder or something like that, then it begins to help those bacteria to come back into your gut microbiome. And then the body often will start to actually crave those foods that it did not previously want, because the microbes that were telling your body, hey, we want this, have died off because you don't eat them. So anyway, that's a really great tip as well, and something that I try to focus on with my family. Okay, another thing is you need to watch out for highly processed foods. Now, we all know that highly processed foods are bad. We know that they're not good for our body. So we know we want to focus on whole fiber-rich foods. And like I said, on the flip side, processed foods are actually going to throw your microbiome out of balance. They tend to feed the wrong kinds of bacteria, which can lead to an increase in inflammation. It can create more cravings, and it can also create a stress response in your body. So as busy moms taking care of our families, we already have enough stress, and we don't want to stress our bodies and our gut out even more by eating those kinds of highly processed foods. Okay, so what about probiotics? We know, we hear about them all the time, but, are they really necessary? Here's the thing. Probiotics, they can be helpful, but they are not going to be a magic fix. You can't eat a really poor diet and not feed your gut, the bacteria in your gut with the foods that it needs, the prebiotics, and also obviously the probiotics, and then expect to have a healthy gut microbiome. So some people actually do experience negative side effects from taking probiotics, like bloating or maybe even small intestinal bacteria overgrowth or SIBO. So instead of just grabbing any kind of probiotic off of the shelf, it's usually better to focus on feeding the existing good bacteria in your gut with fiber-rich foods first. Then you can do your research to find a good quality probiotic to add into your diet. Or one of my favorite hacks is just to make your own yogurt or kefir. I am currently making yogurt for myself just because of the amazing benefits, and I've really been trying to improve my own gut microbiome. But there are a lot of great options that you can do. One book that I really like that walks you through the different strains of bacteria that you can ferment with yogurt and the different benefits, and it walks you through how to do this, is a book called Super Gut. It's a great book and something I definitely recommend you check out, that I will also link in the show notes below. Okay, let's talk about other ways that you can support your gut health. So aside from food, which is extremely important, there are a few other things that can really help your microbiome to thrive. Number one, these are things I say all the time, but the reason why I say them all the time is because they're just really the foundation of good health. So number one is move your body. Exercise has been shown to increase beneficial gut bacteria and also just to support overall gut health. Even a daily walk can make a difference. One of the ways I'm getting exercise right now is we're reworking our garden. So I'm out there, shoveling dirt, shoveling stuff out of our chicken coop, moving stuff around, hauling branches and all that stuff. So it doesn't have to be like we talk about. You don't have to go to the gym. You can just find ways to move your body. Okay, number two is get outside. Time in nature has been linked to a greater microbiome diversity. So letting yourself, like I said, get out and work in the garden. Let your kids dig in the dirt or work in the garden with you. Let them spend some time just out in the fresh air and in the sunshine. It's going to be good for all of you. All right, number three is to be smart about antibiotics. Of course, we know antibiotics are sometimes necessary, but taking them too often can disrupt your microbiome. So whenever possible, use them only whenever they are truly needed. And that's something that you just have to do your own research on, talk with your doctor, and decide from there. Okay, so what is the big takeaway from today? While we can't control our microbiome in just this super targeted way, we can create an environment where it thrives. When our gut is happy, our whole body benefits. We're going to have better digestion. We're going to have more energy. We're going to have an improved mood. And also, we're going to have a better and stronger immune system. The best part is these changes don't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to completely overhaul everything overnight. Start small, add an extra serving of vegetables to your plate. I personally like to start with vegetables. One of my things that I've been doing lately is when I eat breakfast, I try to focus on 40 grams of protein, and I start my day with some kind of a vegetable, and then I eat my protein. And that has been working really well for me. It's just nice to get a serving of vegetables in right away. Another thing you can do is to swap out your processed snacks for something that's a whole food and that is fiber rich. Also, remember, get outside, get a little bit of fresh air. It's all going to add up over time. I hope this episode gave you some encouragement and some practical tips for starting to support your gut health in a very simple and sustainable way that doesn't require you to go and spend a ton of money on probiotic supplements. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who might need to hear about it. And if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you will never miss an episode. Until next time, take care of yourself, Mama. You're doing amazing. Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.